All right, so today we're diving deep into Islam, but specifically we're going beyond the surface level.
Yeah.
We're exploring the Islamic scriptures and those 6 pillars of faith. And I think, even for folks who think they know a bit about Islam, we're going to find some fascinating stuff today.
Oh, absolutely. I think, you hear terms like gospel, psalms, and you immediately think like Christianity.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they hold a very special place within Islam as well.
Okay, so let's start with those scriptures. We've got Ingel, Tarat, Zabre,
Right.
Quran, 4 key texts.
4 key texts, yeah. So we're probably familiar with those first 3, right? Injil being the gospel, Tarat being the Torah, Zabre being the Psalms. But in Islam, they're all part of this continuous divine revelation, right?
Okay.
And they culminate in the Quran, which Muslims view as the most important,
The final word.
the final word, because it's believed to be the literal words of Allah revealed to the Prophet Muhammad
Directly.
in Arabic.
I mean, even those names, gospel songs, we think we know them.
Right, exactly.
But it sounds like Muslims see them a little differently.
Oh, absolutely. It's not about replacing them, but about understanding them within this larger context of revelation.
Okay.
For example, both the Injil and the Quran tell the story of Jesus,
Right.
But their interpretations differ. Muslims view Jesus as a prophet, an important messenger,
Uh-huh.
but not divine in the way that Christianity teaches.
That's a big difference.
It is.
So understanding how the Quran fits in is kind of key to understanding Islam as a whole, it seems like.
I think so, yeah. It gives you that framework.
Okay, so how about those 6 pillars? Where do those fit into the whole picture?
All right, so we have this continuous revelation leading up to the Quran, right?
Yeah.
The 6 pillars are like the practical manifestations of those beliefs,
Okay.
like the foundations of how a Muslim lives their life, connects with Allah.
Let me get in the action.
Exactly. And the first one, it's belief in Allah
Okay.
as the one God, the only God. That's the core, the foundation, like other Abrahamic faith, but with specific Islamic interpretations, of course.
Right, that idea of one God, the creator of everything. Okay, so we've got Allah. What about the other pillars? We've got angels, holy books, messengers.
That's a lot, right?
That's a lot to cover.
It is, but they all connect. Belief in angels, it's about their role as messengers. They're intermediaries between Allah and humanity. And then holy books, well,
Okay.
that ties right back to what we were talking about, right? The Injil, the Tarat, the Zabre, the Quran. It's this lineage of divine communication. Pretty fascinating.
It's like centuries of conversation.
It is.
Okay, we've talked about Allah, angels, holy books. What about these messengers?
Right. So this pillar emphasizes prophets, figures like Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses. Even Jesus
Wow.
is recognized as a messenger of Allah.
Okay,
But Muhammad is considered the final prophet, right?
the final prophet.
Delivering the final revelation through the Quran.
So it's a chain. It all leads to the Quran.
It does. Powerful, right?
It is. Okay, now what about the Day of Judgment?
Okay, yeah. That one's a bit intense.
It does feel pretty intense.
It is. It's about accountability, right? Imagine every soul facing the consequences of their choices. Makes you think about the weight of your actions.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, last but not least, we have divine decree.
All right.
And I got to admit, this is one I struggle with a bit.
I get it.
How does that work with free will?
Oh, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Theologians have been debating this for centuries.
Yeah.
Essentially, it means believing that everything happens according to Allah's will. But that doesn't mean we don't have free will.
Okay.
It's more like our choices, even though we make them freely, Allah already knows what they're going to be.
So it's not like a puppet master situation.
No, not at all.
It's more that there's a bigger plan and our choices fit into that somehow.
Exactly. It's complex, but it encourages Muslims to see their lives as part of this larger tapestry.
Woven by divine will. Okay, so
Yeah.
we've learned so much today. The Quran, it has this unique position.
It does.
Building on those earlier scriptures, but claiming that final revelation.
Yeah.
And these 6 pillars, they're not just abstract ideas. They're like the blueprint
They are.
for how Muslims see the world and live their lives.
I think that's a great way to put it.
I mean, from belief in Allah to the Day of Judgment and this idea of divine decree, it's fascinating.
It is. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? If everything happens according to divine decree,
Yeah.
how do Muslims approach personal responsibility? Like, what does that look like in their daily life?
Well, that's a great question.
Something to think about.
Yeah, something to ponder. We've only scratched the surface here today.
Absolutely.
But this has been a great deep dive. And you know what? I have a feeling we'll be coming back
I think so.
to Islam again in future episodes. But until then, keep thinking about that question.
Keep those gears turning.
And we'll see you next time.
See you then.